Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'd like to share with you a simple sympathy card. You could certainly make this for any occasion just by changing the greeting. But I wanted you to know all of these, I shouldn't say all, two of these sets come from our mini catalog, our January to June mini catalog. The first is the oceanfront stamp sets found on page 39. The second stamp set that's out of here, and I'm only using the birds, this stamp right here, that is the Let's Set Sail stamp. You certainly could choose to not use that, but I thought it added so much by having the birds up here. The third stamp set that I'm using is the Inspired Thoughts stamp. This is out of our annual catalog, and there are so many different greetings that you could certainly use to make this card. So what you need, and all of these supplies I will list on my blog, justalittle.ink.com. And you can order all of them if you don't already have a demonstrator through my Stampin' Up store, justalittle.ink.stampinup.net. Remember that I always appreciate you subscribing if you haven't already, and if you have, liking and sharing and commenting on my blog. But again, I'll have all these supplies listed. You need a half a sheet of Coastal Cabana cardstock. It's cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and then scored at 4.25. You will want a few pieces of basic white, one that's 4 inches by 5.25 that go in the inside, and then a couple scraps, one big enough to cut our greeting and the second for the rock that we will fussy cut out. You want a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock. This piece is cut at 3 3/8 by 4 5/8, just a little bit bigger than my piece of shimmery white cardstock. Has just a little bit of sparkle, and I like how the ink stamps onto this paper for this purpose. This piece is cut at 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/2 inches. And then I'm also going to be using the Tasteful Labels dies. They come in a bunch of little shapes, have a lot of greeting, whether that's dimension, whether that's stitching or just some kind of embossing that comes across looking on the front. And these work wonderfully in our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which happens to be on sale this month. Actually, Stampin' Up! Has a couple specials going on during the month of March. It's called Savings Are in Bloom, and the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is on sale. I believe this was 20% off. Could be only 10. Somehow I'm not seeing it. Yes, 20% off. Normally is a $60 machine, but you can get it for $48, and it is the perfect size to keep on your stamping table. I keep one on mine. And then there are a lot of bundles, some that used to be sold as bundles, and they brought them back only for this promotion at the bundle price. And you can find all of these details on my Stampin' Up! Store. The other special that's going on is a pre-order. It's a pre-release, early release of Waves of the Ocean. It's a stamp bundle that will be in the new catalog when it comes out, but it also includes some items that are while supplies last that coordinate with and just make a wonderful product. So just so you know those things, but let's begin on this simple card. I have already scored my Coastal Cabana at that 4 1/4 mark. So I'm going to fold it, match my raw ends, fold it along this scored line, and then I can set that out of the way. I want to stamp on my piece of shimmery cardstock. I'm going to start it at the top. And so what I'm going to do, figure out where I've had my pieces at. I believe I went this direction. Not that it really matters. think it came this way. So I'm using our Stampin' Right markers. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. I'm going to use Mango Melody and Pumpkin Pie. And I'm going to start from the lightest color down to the darkest color because it won't matter if I bleed over. I'm going to use the brush tip end. The other tip is a writing tip. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to just color using the side of my marker. You never want to use the tip. It'll dull it up and you won't be able to use it very well. So I'm going to color in my Daffodil Delight. I'm going to use the next darkest, which is that Mango Melody, kind of a blend between a yellow and an orange. I'm going to come here. And then I'm finally going to finish it up with my Pumpkin Pie. And again, I'm going light to dark so that it doesn't affect my colors on my tips of my markers. And I'm going to breathe onto my stamp to kind of re-moisten. And then I want to stamp it and come toward the top here. I don't want it too far from the top. So, nice good inking. And I forgot underneath, and actually it works out pretty well at the moment because it's holding on to it. I'm going to use my Pierce pad just to get a better inking with my photopolymer stamps. Our cling mount stamps, ooh, interesting look. My cling mount stamps already have foam in it, and the Pierce pad kind of gives you that extra layer of foam that you don't have otherwise. Then I'm going to come in with the water edge using Coastal Cabana. What I found is no two of these end up looking the same. Ink up using Coastal Cabana. Bring it close enough that I can see. What I love about photopolymer is that you can see the lines. Okay, so right here. And then close up my ink so I don't stamp something else onto it. Then I'm using Sahara sand for the sand line of the beach. So I'm going to bring it up. It's angled out a little ways, like so. And then there is little sand stamp, kind of has a little bit of texture. So I'm going to stamp on top of, and then out a little ways just to get more sand. Might come even out over here. And again, I'll put that away. Then I want to stamp my my grass. And so I'm going to use Mossy Meadow for this. You could use any of our greens. On my original one, I even used black, but I liked the green. And I want to come not too far up over here, and I want it to come up over my water. Like so. And then I'm going to pull out those scrap pieces. So I'm going to use some soft suede to stamp my rock. Bring it in here. I'm going to do it this way so I can have the other side to use for other things. So, like so. Not sure what I did on my original one. It wasn't quite that dark, but it all works. Then I'm going to fussy cut this one. And I'm not going to do all of it right now, but kind of just to show you what I do is I leave a little bit of a white edge. And that gives me some flexibility with how much shows and how much doesn't, and if I'm straight or crooked. And that's part of the advantage of this rock, is that it's not a straight edge. It's not a complete perfect circle. It's got a little bit of variation to it. So I'm just going to cut around, and because I've already done that, I'll end up with a rock. And then I want to stamp, again, using that Inspired Thoughts stamp. I'm going to use Memento ink, the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I'm going to stamp the With Heartfelt Sympathy onto the center here. And then on the inside of my greeting, that's what this piece is going to be for, I'm going to use what I think is the inside, talking about sheltering you with love at times when words fall short. Get my piece straight. Come in here, see how well I do. Good thing is I have two sides. Not bad though. Okay. So then I've got my inside of my greeting ready to go. The only thing I've got left is to assemble and to cut this piece with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And so I would put it, open up my machine. It folds up for nice and compact storage. Put in my plates. You have comes with all three initially, and then you can purchase cutting plates as you need them. And then I'm going to use this little piece. So I liked, of all the different ones, I liked this particular die, and I'm going to come kind of at an angle. I use little pieces of retired washi just to kind of keep my die from moving around. And the tip I'm going to give you with running through here is to offset your top plate just a little bit, so you just have a little bit of an overhang. And then when it grips into the machine, it'll roll all the way through. So like so. So I've got my greeting. We can get this all out of the way. All right, and then see how fast this all goes together. So I'm going to take this piece and layer it using my Stampin' Seal. Be patient right now. Our Stampin' Seal refills are on not orderable because of supply issues. As soon as they have them in stock, though, we will have more. And there are always other options, including our multi-purpose liquid glue is always a great option. Like so. I put this down on the front of my card without any layering up of dimensionals because I didn't want it too thick. So I'm going to center this on my card base, like so. And then it's a matter of layering up. And I did go ahead and decide to use some dimensionals. I have some scrap pieces here. I'm going to come in, put a couple pieces on. Doesn't take much. Put those on. And what I found is this helps with, is it helps to kind of disguise this line right into here. So I can put my rock, and I might come just a little further. There we go. Yeah, kind of like that. And then I put my greeting down just flat. I decided I didn't really want a lot more layering. So I came in. You could use more of the shimmery if you wanted, but I liked how kind of this looked. So I'm going to come here. Actually, I might come down just a little. Really, it's up to you how much you like. Oh. And then I'm going to put my inside in there, and I'm going to quickly have a sympathy card. And I think you could make a whole bunch of these. If you decided not to do a sunset, could be just a sunny greeting in the inside, up on the front of it. Make a great birthday card. Could be a great anniversary card. So many different things you could do. Thank you again for joining me. Again, if you've not subscribed, I'd so appreciate you doing so. You can always use my monthly host code. It's always listed on my blog, justalittleinc.com, at the very top, for any order that happens to be under $150. I always send thank you notes, and you can earn rewards from shopping with me with every order of 50 or more. Thanks again. Have a great day.